So I'm going to start with the fourth trimester. So this period of time, the first kind of 4 months after your baby has been born, can be a really special and wonderful time, but it can also be incredibly tough. And it can be really useful to think about what your baby is going through during this time. So what is it like from their perspective? Now, they have been used to being in the womb where they will have automatically fallen asleep. They won't have had to get used to different smells, different lights, different sounds. Their environment will have been very much controlled and they will have felt nice and snug. And that's why a lot of babies in the fourth trimester kind of struggle with this period, getting to know the new world, having a nappy on them, coping with clothes, being not attached to anymore is quite a big deal. And so lots of babies will need a lot of support. And we kind of think about that kangaroo support, baby wearing, and most of them are going to want to be right here. Now that's really, really normal. And it can be really useful to just think, actually, yes, the fourth trimester is really important for all of that support, but it doesn't necessarily stop kind of once you get to the 4-month period. But just thinking particularly during this time, it's really about going, my baby's probably going to find it quite difficult. And so knowing that just kind of leaning in, getting to know them, offering them lots of kind of touch, cuddles, contact napping is exactly what they need. And if at any point, and really at any age of your baby, if you are worrying, am I creating a rod for my own back? Should I be putting them down? Am I creating bad habits? I want you to know that the research has actually found that when you are cuddling your baby, and specifically during the fourth trimester, you are helping your baby's brain to grow. And we're talking here about the social and emotional aspect of their brains, which is so important for mental health. So anytime you may have a wobble and you think, oh, should I be doing this? Am I holding them too much, loving them too much? You are not, okay? You are doing a brilliant job and you're offering them exactly what they need. And there is no age or weight at which point you kind of need to go, nope, I need to take that support away, okay? Any age, that is really, perfectly fine. It's not that you're creating any bad habits. That's actually not really possible in terms of sleep. So I want to talk to you about those first kind of early days and weeks after birth. So sometimes parents will, I remember this, after birth, it's like, actually, this is okay. Sleep's pretty easy. I don't know what everyone's talking about. Baby's napping during the daytime, no big deal. Nighttime's okay. They're waking up, but it's not that difficult. And then, bam, baby wakes up. It's a bit like, oh, naps are really short. They're waking up a lot more in the night. What have we done? And I often get kind of panicked messages saying, have we done something wrong? They were sleeping so well. And that is really normal. It's actually kind of called the recovery sleep. It's the recovery after birth. And lots of babies will do that. And then they'll get into their more natural rhythm. Now, they don't have a kind of regulated circadian rhythm, their internal body clock. They don't know what time of day it is. And that doesn't really kick in or start to mature until around 8 weeks. So prior to that, they've got no clue. But there are things that you can do which will support your circadian rhythm and theirs. So things like, as much as possible, darkening down on the night. Once it's the morning, kind of, curtains open, even if it's dark, daytime voices, turning the lights on, and making it quite an obvious distinction between day and night. Now, even once they kind of get to grips with that idea of day and night, they don't obviously suddenly start sleeping through the night, and they need to wake up regularly. And when we talk about the amount of hours that a newborn, young baby might sleep, that's only around 9 hours to start with. And so newborns and young babies, they tend to like a late bedtime. It's something that I really wish I'd known about when mine were young, because I always wanted to go to bed super early and I'd go to bed with them. And actually, if you can do this, if you can get into the routine, if you've got a partner, you go to bed early, maybe get an hour or two sleep. Baby then comes in with you, you feed them, they sleep wherever it is you've chosen for them to sleep, or you hope they're going to sleep. And then the fact that they're going to bed later is going to support their natural rhythm. Now, obviously, they're going to be waking up throughout those 9 kind of roughly 9 hours, but it's better suited to where their natural rhythm is. Slowly, they will start to bring their bedtime forward, and you will see them do that themselves. You don't need to kind of push them into that. And in fact, if you try, it will be much harder. So they will kind of show you when they're ready for that. I wanted to talk to you about the witching hour. It's something that I really wish, again, that I'd known about. It wasn't until I bumped into a neighbour in the supermarket with my newborn, 5 o'clock, who was really, really unhappy. And she said, the witching hour, And I suddenly realised, so every day around 5 o'clock, Ivy would be really unhappy. And, often that would be the time that I was going to go and get some food for dinner. As soon as I realised it's still a really hard period of time, but there were things that I were able to do to then kind of prepare. So knowing that actually she's not really going to be happy in a pram, she's going to want to be right here. She's going to want probably to do a lot of cluster feeding, walking around, the neediest hour, if you like. And sometimes it can be for a few hours, but usually you get into this phase where you're like, this is their time. And it might be kind of 11 o'clock at night. It might be 7 in the evening. But usually you'll kind of go, okay, I know where we're at. Skin to skin can really help, having a bath together. It won't last forever, but at least kind of going, well, this is the time when they need me most. Let's kind of plan for that, can help.